What's up guys, Dave with Miracle Canine Training. I'm out here with Duke right now. He is a deaf dog, so he can't hear. And I post a couple clips about him on my personal Instagram that sparked a lot of questions as far as how do you train dogs like this and can you demonstrate some of the process. We want to make a quick video detailing that. All in all, the process of training a deaf dog is almost identical to that of a dog that can actually hear. The only difference is instead of using verbal cues for our stuff, we're using hand commands or visual cues for things. Everything else is the same, so we would utilize, just like with any other dog, nonverbal leash communication in order to get into positions and move with that leash and all that kind of stuff. And then we would layer in our commands and our e-collar into the process. So what I want to do is I want to demonstrate how we give the bed command. So for the bed command, we just use a gesture towards the bed, hand outstretched away from the body, pointed at the bed. And one of the keys here is because we need him to see and stabilize to that cue, is I'm going to give that cue and I'm going to maintain that cue until he stabilizes. Once he stabilizes, I'll reward for that, and then we'll have him hold that position. Now, same process if we were gonna be giving a correction. Obviously, normally we would say no and give our correction. The only difference is we don't have the luxury of being able to utilize a verbal marker to buy us time to give our consequence for this. So we just have to make sure that correction comes right when he makes his mistake. So if he were to step off of this bed, I would just tap the button right away. I would walk him back to the bed and I would re-give that hand cue to get him back into position. When I go back, I get that leash. I can give a reward for that. Off of the bed, we'll typically use kind of a gesture similar to that, whatever you want to call that, in order to get the dog to understand they are free at that point. Now, for the most part, when you're training deaf dogs, the training process is going to be virtually the same. The only thing you have to adjust is some of your expectations. Obviously, this is a very engaged, motivated dog, but keep in mind, because they can't hear, unless the dog is able to see you, you're not very successfully able to give a command. So your off-leash reliability is not gonna be quite what you would want it to be. So you're gonna have to do it only in safe areas, obviously, in closed areas, situations where you know you can keep that attention on you. There are some tricks to kind of work around with that. We'll teach that vibrate function on the e-collar as coming to us. So even if the dog is not looking, we can cue that vibrate to get the dog to shift their attention to us so we can then give the command for it. But aside from that, like I said, everything is very similar. You really can train these dogs just as effectively, as you guys can see here. So as you can see, this process is very straightforward. There's nothing elaborate about it. If you know how to train a dog, you will know how to train a deaf dog, as long as you just replace those verbal cues with clear hand signals.